here at the reef. Obviously, it's not very deep at all. When we drift over the tops of those coral heads, we'll be at anywhere between 8 and 12 feet of water, and the deeper areas surrounding those will be as deep as 20 feet. So it's really nice we can see everything as well as we're doing this evening. What's going to make tonight a whole lot nicer than most other nights, though, is our sea state. Now, we do have some nice, slick, calm seas. It doesn't really get any calmer than this, and it's pretty cool that it could be this calm out here when you consider just how far out into the open Atlantic Ocean that we are. Just try and keep in mind that Key West is a very small island. It sits 110 miles off of the mainland of Florida. Now, when we left Key West, our heading was due south. We brought you another 6.2 miles out into the open Atlantic Ocean to this very small section of the third largest barrier reef in the world. That means right now you can consider us to be almost 117 miles out into the open Atlantic Ocean. If you look out around the boat, it kind of looks like we're on a lake instead of that far out into the Atlantic. Now, I highly doubt you could go 117 miles out in any other body of water. I find it near as calm as it is out here this evening. The water near as clear or shallow. We have our famous Florida sunshine working to our favor, so you really could not have picked a much better evening to come out here to do your viewing. Now, as I mentioned, when we left the dock, our heading was due south. That means at this moment we are only 84 miles from Cuba. Now, it's pretty interesting to think right now that we're a lot closer to Cuba than we are the mainland of Florida or the mainland of the United States. But we obviously do not have government permission or time to take any of you guys to Cuba. So we're just going to stay put here. We'll get everybody back to Key West in just a little bit. Now, chances are on the trip out here this evening, some of you might have noticed a large steel structure off in the distance. Kind of looks like it has something to do with the oil industry. Us directly ahead of the boat, if you guys haven't noticed that already. You don't have to worry, though. That's not an oil rig. We're not drilling for oil off the coast of Key West, not now, hopefully never. What that structure is a lighthouse. That's the Sand Key Lighthouse. It just gets that name because it's built on an island or a key of sand. Now, it's an open steel structure like that for a very specific reason. We do live in a hurricane zone 6 months out of the year down here in Key West. So when we have high wave and wind action generated from those tropical systems, that open design allows that to pass through that structure without blowing it over. We have lighthouses that resemble Sand Key Lighthouse. They'll dot a reef line about every 18 miles just to warn the sailors of the very, very shallow waters. That's exactly why Sand Key Lighthouse is out here. If you guys are standing up, if you look out towards Sand Key Lighthouse, look a little closer to us and over to the left, you can see where there's a small wooden stake sticking up out of the water over there. Now that marks a very shallow patch section of this reef line. Over there, the coral heads grow all the way up towards the surface of the water. That means the average water depth in that area right now is maybe 12 or 18 inches deep, and that's it. That's pretty amazing. We could be this far out into the open Atlantic Ocean and find water depth around a foot or a foot and a half. Now, that also means during really low tides, those coral heads will actually break the surface of the water. They'll start to dry out, and that's what gives this area that we're in right now its common name, the dry rocks. Now, we're just on the eastern side of that, so this is the eastern dry rocks. There's a western dry rocks as well. I'd just like to start out like this because it will give you a really good idea of how everything else out here will get their common names. Now, just like Sand Key Lighthouse and the dry rocks themselves, everything we see beneath the glass this evening will get its common name for pretty simple reasons. Maybe for what they look like, or what they're doing, what they could possibly do to you if you happen to touch them or brush up against them, and in many cases, even the sounds they might make. Now,